Senator Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to also contribute. First, let me say that I have been privileged, Honorable Speaker, to serve on the SBC for 2 consecutive sessions. And despite some of the aspersions that have been cast, especially by Senator Mungatana, I think the report that was given in Naivasha of the midterm performance of this House is indicator to the work that has been put in by the SBC in ensuring that we process our business here. So, Honorable Speaker, I felt as part of the leadership of the majority coalition that we now need to give opportunity to other people to also experience this Senate Business Committee. And in fact, when members talk about that anxiety about the speed with which some of the business is moving, especially bills in this House, I don't think from our side there is somebody who is more passionate about the speed at which business is moving than Senator Crystal Asige. So I am hoping that with her in that committee, she will ensure that that which she has wished to see now happens under her guidance. Honorable Speaker, there is another issue that I need to raise as a leader in the House on the question of the speed with which we process bills here. It is also a question of dedication and quorum, presence of members on this floor. I remember at those meetings of the SBC, we have struggled, and the whips especially have felt the weight. Honorable Speaker, when you look at an order paper has almost 30 bills and they keep recurring week after week. Honorable Speaker, we want to ask members that this last 2 years of the life of this Senate, people appear to process those bills, and especially the sponsors of the bills. Honorable Speaker, how many times have we had to drop bills because the sponsors were not in the House? So I also want to urge that whereas SBC can prioritize that business, we need the sponsors of the bills to be here, Honorable Speaker. Finally, Honorable Speaker, there's a matter that has been raised here, and I'm sure you've said you're going to give guidance, but also as members of the House and the leadership, we can also guide. Mr. Speaker, the Constitution is very elaborate. It's very elaborate. You will see it starts out by defining what Parliament is, then separating the roles of the Senate and the National Assembly. Honorable Speaker, it goes to be specific enough as to the roles of each of those houses, the matters that can be processed there, and the matters that cannot be processed there. On the question of which party is a majority party, there is absolutely no mention throughout the entire document of the Constitution of the Senate. In my view, it means that the leadership or the designation of a majority party is set in the National Assembly. And I will tell you why I think that, Honorable Speaker. Because it would be very absurd, Honorable Speaker, as SG of ODM, for my party to be the majority down there, and I'm in a minority here. Honorable Speaker, sometimes when you get communications from these coalitions, for instance, our membership of the PSC, there is only one person who writes those letters to you, and that is the Secretary General of Azimio. Honorable Speaker, would he write there in the National Assembly, he writes as a leader of a majority party, and here he writes as a leader of a minority party? These are some of the absurdities that I think would arise if we would not follow the designation. And by the way, Honorable Speaker, I want to be very clear that we in the majority coalition are going to ensure we enforce that court order, because we are believers in the rule of law. Once a court has pronounced itself, Senator Khalwale, you look for another seat. You don't insist on the one that you'll be told is not your seat. So therefore, Honorable Speaker, you cannot tell us, a member of the Senate cannot stand here and say, oh, the courts are out there and we are here. We exist in a constitutional order that the things that happen here have consequences outside, and that the process of checks and balances and oversight requires that other organs also look into the issues that are being done by this particular institution. So therefore, Honorable Speaker, we will not allow people to conflate issues. If Azimio is a majority party in the National Assembly, it follows that we are the majority in this House.
Just a minute,
I thank you, Honorable
Senator
Speaker.
Sifuna, Senator Mungatana.